Hi, everyone. Today we are continuing to work on our integrated marketing campaign. Remember, the last time that I talked to you, we learned what an integrated marketing campaign was. So, it's essentially a promotional plan, or what would have previously be called a promotional plan, where you're coordinating series of linked ads with a single idea or theme, and then the media that is utilized is based on the target market. But the integrated part is going to ensure that the various methods reinforce each other. Now, the last time that we met, we talked specifically about the products or product situation, so describing the product, and then we also talked about um, doing a SWOT analysis. So that is one way that we can figure out where our company is at and figure out what things that we can capitalize on in our promotional campaign. Today, what we are going to do is we are going to identify the target market and identify goals and objectives for the promotion that we're ultimately going to be doing within our campaign. So, that being said, we're going to talk about identifying the target market. Now, we had an entire chapter on target marketing, but these next couple of slides are just going to be a little refresher for you. So, when we are doing our integrated marketing campaign, we want to figure out not only who our target market is, but we also want to estimate the total size of the target market because that is going to drive some of our decision making further down along the line. So, when we are doing this, we are including information from sales histories, marketing studies or reports, test marketing activities that describe different marketing trends. We're also going to describe factors that affect purchasing of the product, such as the season, the price, the availability, the emotions, service, or tax considerations. Another important thing when we are identifying the target market is we need to segment the market. We need to make sure that we have a profile for the person that doesn't just say women ages 30 to 50. So when we're identifying the target market, you're essentially creating a profile of your targeted customers, not only based on age and gender, but it goes further into education, income level, or lifestyle. So you can see here is an example of a profile of someone in your target market. Women ages 30 to 50, they like shopping for higher end clothing, shoes, accessories, or makeup. They're mostly shopping for themselves, their husbands, or their children, and they like to spend time in the store or online. They're not one stop shoppers. So, we're going to dive a little bit more into market segmentation because this is something that a lot of you struggle with. So, it's the process of dividing a large market into smaller groups. So, a market segment is a smaller group of the people, families, businesses, or organizations with common characteristics or needs. So, market segmentation is eventually going to become your target market within your campaign. So, you can really narrow down and hone in on who you're focusing on. So, by breaking up the market into separate groups, your messages can be targeted to just those groups. So, you can have multiple messages delivered using multiple different platforms in order to best get to the most amount of customers. Here is an example of market segmentation or how you can further segment the market. So we had that profile here, and that really broke down into some not only demographics but a lot of psychographics and behaviors. But you can also further segment through geographics like your country, city, the density of where they live, the language that they speak, the climate of the area that they live in, the area or the population. Age can be, or demographics would be age, gender, income, education, social status, family, life stage, occupation. Psychographics are going to be lifestyles, your activities, interests, and opinions, your concerns, your personality, your values, and your attitudes. And behaviors would be benefits sought, your purchases, usage, intent, occasion, the buyer stage, which we talked about when we learned about products. user status, life cycle stage, engagement. These are all very important things that we need to be aware of for who we're specifically targeting. So, in your projects, you are ultimately going to be identifying your target markets and multiple target markets, but you're also going to need to segment those markets and not only just tell me their age and their gender, but go into some geographic, psychographics, and behaviors in order to really pinpoint who we're trying to get our message to. Now, the next thing that we need to do in our campaign is we need to identify measurable goals and objectives. So, your objectives should address the desired impact on the target audience, and the results or outcomes should be compatible with your ultimate corporate goals, which we talked about when we learned about branding. So, the objective should explain the impact of the campaign on the target audiences and the ultimate results on the outcomes. What I want you to do, however, is I want you, when you're creating these objectives and these goals, they should be in the SMART format. Now, SMART goals is not just something that I'm making up, and it's not just something that's related to marketing. SMART goals are used across all over the business world, and it's a way to really pinpoint goals and objectives. So, when you are creating your goals and objectives for your integrated marketing campaign, they should be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. So, it shouldn't just be like, I want more visitors. You want to set real numbers with real deadlines. You should not say, I want there to be more brand engagement or social influence. You want to make sure that it's trackable, so there's an actual number attached to it. You want to make sure that it's attainable, so you don't want to try to take over the world in one night. You want to make sure that you set a goal that you can actually reach that's challenging but possible. You want to make sure that it's realistic, so you don't want to have specific hurdles that you're not going to be able to overcome. You want to be honest with yourself. You want to make sure that you're doing something that you're capable of, and it should be time bound. So you want to give yourself a deadline. You don't want to say, I want to hit a million, I have a million followers, but then, well, a million followers in a week, in a month. You want to make sure you have a date set to it. So I'm going to give you a couple of different objectives here. So if you have a marketing campaign, maybe you want to um, increase the number of website visitors by the different as a result of the promotions that you put out. So if you want to increase the number of visitors, you don't just set that as a goal, increase the number of visitors. You say you want to increase the number of visitors by 10,000 within the next 6 months. So that follows the SMART format. It's specific, so exactly what you want to do. You want to increase the website visitors. It's measurable. You can measure it because you have a number attached to it. You want 10,000. It's attainable because it's not crazy, it's realistic, it's time bound, it has that specific 6 month deadline. So here are a couple of others. Maybe one of your goals is to increase the number of inquiries that come from your marketing communication. So you don't just say that, you say that, but then by 15% by the end of October this year. Increase brand awareness in the second half of 2019 by increasing the number of recommended influencers from 5 to 12. You want to increase the market share from 20 to 30% for product A within 2 years. And there are tons of different goals and objectives that you might have for your campaign. So I have a few more examples. Increase the percentage of customers who rate your live chat customer support as excellent from 60% to 80% by providing education lessons to our chat support team within the next 6 months. I like this one specifically because it says how you're going to reach your goal. Increase our website leads by 30% via social media marketing and blogging by the end of October of 2019. Increase followers of our Facebook company page to 1,000 by the end of the second quarter in 2017 through increasing frequency of posting by 50% and optimizing and targeting. That's another way where they really spell out how they're going to reach their goal. And just a couple more, reach 4,000 downloads of our ebook ABC through through Facebook advertising by the end of November 2019. To increase our email subscriber list by 30% within 3 months by providing a new ebook for free download. Improve the average customer satisfaction of our website by 15% by the end of the second half of 2019. So, what I want you guys to do is, I want you to go back into your project and look at your company description. Who is your company? Tell me about, really look at what you wrote down, and then take a really good look at your SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? What are your threats? Look at some of these opportunities and incorporate them into your goals that you are setting. Look at the threats. How can you avoid those threats, those competitors, the changing environment? How can you overcome those threats, and try to incorporate that into your goals or even your weaknesses? What are things that you personally need to improve upon? Look at those things you need to improve upon and then create goals based off of that. Okay. So, for today, what you are going to do is you are going to work on your target market and goals and objectives slides. So, here's a look at the rubric, and the rubric is going to be, it's in Google Classroom if you want to look at it. If you want full credit on your target market slides, you're going to successfully identify multiple target markets and segment them. So you should have multiple target markets identified, and you shouldn't just say women ages 30 to 50. You should really break down and look at not only demographics, but geographics, psychographics, and behaviors. And then your goals and objectives, you should have three measurable goals and objectives, but they should be in the SMART format. So I'm looking for them to specifically be specific, um, s- sorry, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. That's what going to be looking for when I am grading this. If you have any questions while you're working or need guidance, please let me know. But also remember, this is an integrated campaign. So your goals and objectives, your target market, all of that should be directly related to your product description and your SWOT analysis.